Previously on ALC201.
There was, of course, no way of knowing whether you were being watched at any given moment. How often or on what system the thought police plugged in on any individual wire was guesswork. It was even conceivable that they watched everybody all the time. But at any rate, they could plug in your wire whenever they wanted to. You had to did live from a habit that became instinct, in the assumption that every sound you made was overheard, and except in darkness, every movement scrutinized.
Alright everyone, so we've only got about 5 minutes left. What can we do for this video? Any ideas?
You could video people
Videoing people videoing themselves. Absolutely. Why don't people take out their phones and start to film me? Or film each other? Or just pretend that they're filming each other? It's a video that no one has to know. All they know is what they can see and what they can hear. What do you think?
No, we asked you. What do you think?
You have the power, or do you?
Hi everyone, welcome to meLecture 4. The topic for this week is sexing up new media from surrogates to porn. So the topics we're looking at this week are cybersex, online dating and pornography. And I remember one thing my brother said in year 11, we made a video for school and he told me what he thought about pornography.
It's my favourite.
Okay, that might have been taken slightly out of context. I was really tempted to dress up in spandex or a mankini or something for this meLecture, but this is going to be a pretty sedate video because I'm mainly going to be talking about assessment, particularly the Collaborative Digital Media Project. But please, in the meantime, make sure you have a look at the study notes 4, which deals with this topic. There's some really interesting readings on those topics for this week, so make sure you engage with it fully, and I look forward to seeing the discussion that ensues. So I won't be talking about the content of this week's topic as part of this video, partly because I'll be giving a substantial on-campus lecture at Burwood this coming Monday. We initially had Tony Chalkley, who was going to come down and give us a guest lecture, but unfortunately a timetabling clash has meant that he can't make it in the end, but I'll be giving the lecture instead, and I've been able to record an interview with Tony, which I'll put in to that lecture as part of the iLecture recording. And I do apologise to those students who went to the lecture theatre in week 3 due to a timetabling error. There is definitely a lecture coming up this Monday, so I look forward to seeing you there. Okay, so what I mainly want to do in this video is to spend a few minutes talking about the Collaborative Digital Media project. I'll give some more advice, drawing on some of the questions I've been given on Deacon Cloud or via email, expanding on the already very detailed instructions document. So please make sure you read that very, very carefully and ensure that every single member of your group has read that very, very carefully. It is your own responsibility to ensure that you have read it yourself, but I encourage group members just to cross-check that everyone's absolutely clear on what's involved. There is a lot of detail. It looks intimidating at the start, but I think as you work through it, you'll see that it's a pretty straightforward project, and probably the most intimidating thing of all is this idea that I've called maximum flexibility. In relation to the creation of the video, there's not so much advice that I can actually give, because the more advice I give, the more I could limit creativity. The example that I use in the proposal example, it should by no means be seen to refer to something that's preferred. You really have a lot of scope to work with. After you've got your focus, which is really a theme relating to digital media, you can take it where you want to. And as I said in the study notes, basically, as long as what you do is 1, legal, 2, ethical, and 3, relating to digital media, then you're pretty much on track. We're just as concerned with how you're collaborating with each other as we are with the final output that you produce. So when it comes to what you might do with your 5 minutes of edited video and the up to 1,000 words accompanying that, the world is your oyster. You can go where you want to with it. But it's so important. One of the points I made towards the end of this document is don't try to do too much. You can see how little I can do with even 10 to 15 minutes of footage in the meLectures. So you really need to plan ahead, make sure you don't end up with hundreds of minutes of footage, which I think is very unlikely, but it's possible you'll just overthink this. So do really be realistic and pragmatic, and don't try and make it too big. It should be really enjoyable to do, and you can really do whatever you like as a group. And in relation to participation, it's absolutely crucial that you collaborate fully with your group. People who've taken some time to get in touch with group members owe them a very, very big apology, and depending on when you see this video, it may already be too late. I'm encouraging group members who are participating to move forward at the rate that they're comfortable with the project. And as I noted in a previous news item, please make sure you keep an eye on those. Several groups seem to be planning to meet up in person. Even if by coincidence you are with most or all of your group members on the same campus, think about how much more difficult this might make your task if you have a face-to-face meeting and you work out lots of things. This assignment is really focusing on online collaboration. By the way, don't forget the various kinds of media that you can employ for this task. You don't need to try and do too much, and that's emphasised in the instructions as well. But a face-to-face meeting will probably be detrimental rather than beneficial to your collaborations. Another thing about collaboration, I've noticed that only 1 out of the 48 groups so far, a couple of weeks into the project, are using the Deacon Cloud group discussion areas properly. Please make sure you have another look in the instructions for the highlighted bit just on how to use those Deacon Cloud discussion forums as a group. It's not something you need to spend a lot of time on, but it's just there as a safeguard. All the instructions are in there, so make sure you have another look. A few words about the 2,000 word critical reflection. Like the proposal, this is written as a group. How you do that is completely up to you. I think a good way might be to keep sort of a journal each of just brief notes on what you've done and how these things have worked. Obviously this is recorded elsewhere as well, but bring all of your material together. Perhaps you could use Google Drive or some other platform to co-write the 2,000 word critical reflection in the final output, but also perhaps you could even co-write in some way the project proposal. So there's lots of different ways you can do this. All of the submitting of the final pieces of work, whether it be the project proposal of 500 words or the final edited video with accompanying words, whatever format that takes, and the 2,000 word critical reflection on your use and how you found the value or otherwise of different collaborative digital media, that's all submitted by just one student on behalf of the group into the group Dropbox, and that way we can evaluate and mark that on behalf of all of the group members. And I can't emphasize enough just how important it is to get an early start on this. Have a look in your unit guide, you'll notice that you also have an individual piece of assessment, not a major piece of work, but again, it's an important one. It's worth actually the same amount as your group assignment is worth on the Module 2 exercise, which is creating a video or an audio recording. You'll need to get an early start on this as well. I've seen a lot of evidence with the submission of the Module 1 exercise, people leaving things until the last minute, technical issues arising, images not working, or files not uploading properly, and you just can't afford to do that, particularly with a group assignment, because if the group assignment comes in late, in fairness to all other groups, marks are deducted for lateness, and that would affect everyone in the group. So you need to plan ahead, make sure you know well in advance what you're doing, and don't even leave the uploading of a video to the last 24 hours. Trust me, it can take a while, and if there's problems, then you might need to find a different method and so on. I wanted to end with a few points about the making of a video. This is going to be pretty new to some people, and it can be pretty intimidating at the start. But when you think about it, you don't need all that much in order to make a video. You don't need a camcorder, you don't need a smartphone with a camera, you don't need a webcam or any kind of camera at all. You can use a free screen capture program to capture a series of images, a PowerPoint slideshow, or a Prezi. I'm not saying that's necessarily what you should or have to do for this assignment, but there's lots of different ways in which to make a video. Don't feel compelled to have everyone on camera. Some people won't feel comfortable with that, that's more than fine. You can do whatever you like, and there's lots of different options. You can merge different strategies and try different things. And for those people who are feeling a bit uncomfortable about the prospect of making videos, I thought I'd show you something from my past which really highlights how there's so many applications available to you today which are extremely easy to use, very user-friendly, and very affordable, if not completely free. I used to make some videos for school instead of doing in-class presentations all the time, in which we'd have the massive analog camera that went over our shoulder that we'd get from the library, and we'd record all this footage, and then we'd have to sit up all night with 2 VCRs and do manual, very laboursome, very tiresome and very slow editing. These days you don't have to spend anywhere near the time and effort that we did back then, and I thought we'd have a quick ad break before we move on with the unit.
Good afternoon and welcome to another Nappy Sand Door Challenge, where we put our product to the test through your clothing. We will once again prove that our product, Nappy Sand Plus, is the only really working cleaning product. We are now standing outside the residence belonging to a Mrs. Lady Macbeth. Okay now, follow me. Good afternoon, ma'am. Would you have any of those items of clothing with the stains that just won't come out?
Yes, here's a spot.
Oh, good.
Out, damn spot. Out, I say.
That's the spirit. Get into those stains.
Here's the smell of the blood still. All the perfumes of Arabia could never sweeten these little hands.
Excuse me? I only have Nappy Sand Plus, not the perfumes of Arabia. Do you have anything that requires cleaning?
Can you clean me?
Oh my gosh!